localwebradio.fm, your trusted voices on the Semiahmoo Peninsula.
Welcome to the Mortgage Newscast with Jared Dreyer, brought to you by Dreyer Group Mortgages. Now, here's your host.
Well, Erik Reynolds here, and I am your host, and I'm here again with Jared Dreyer, accredited mortgage professional and president of Dreyer Group Mortgages, a proud member of the Verico Brokers Network. And today we're talking with Jared about credit worthiness and why managing your personal credit is so important, including how credit can affect a mortgage application, where to obtain your credit report, tips for improving your credit, and how to establish credit for the first time. Now, before Jared joins us, just as a reminder, if you have questions or require assistance, you can reach Jared's team at Dreyer Group Mortgages at 1-800-687-9020. Again, that's 800-687-9020. Well, Jared, it's great to be talking with you again today.
Erik, I love talking to you. I think these are great sessions and very informative for our listeners.
Absolutely, and it's one that I'm gonna send to a lot of my family members. We're talking about credit worthiness and buying a home. So let me start asking you a handful of questions here. Start with this: how does credit affect qualifying for a home?
Well, Erik, that's such a great question because a lot of people don't understand how important credit is. And credit is one of the main criteria of what can affect your purchasing a home. And it can really affect whether you're going to be approved or declined. And, of course, credit can affect also what interest rate you're going to obtain. So borrowers need to make sure that all your payments are made by the due date. And what I mean by that, especially if you have credit cards, it's really critical that you make at least your minimum payment. If you can't pay the balance out in full, make your minimum payment. Don't skip 1 month and then double up a minimum payment the next month. That is going to adversely affect your credit rating. The secondly is you want to make sure if you've had any credit problems in the past, get them cleaned up as soon as you can. Make sure you haven't paid out any late payments or collection items. And if you've ever had to have, unfortunately, that financial difficulty of declaring bankruptcy, you will have to get new credit reestablished at least 2 years after that. So I'd highly recommend to all of our listeners is make sure that you contact Equifax directly, and you can contact them at equifax.ca and get a free copy of your credit report to make sure it's up to date.
Now, here's a question I have, and it's kind of close and dear to my heart because I had an issue with this a couple years ago, had some incorrect information on my credit report when I had it pulled. Now, Jared, how can a borrower fix incorrect information on their credit report?
Erik, what you have to do is you basically have to get the report from Equifax directly, and what you got to do is contact them, okay, to get it fixed immediately. What they can do is take a look at that report and basically make sure that it has been, reported directly from whatever agency is causing you the grief for it.
Well, then let me ask this question. How can somebody improve their credit? Say if they've had some issues in the past, how can they improve their credit?
Well, fixing your credit report, the only thing that does do it, unfortunately, is time. And, sometimes it may take 6 months, sometimes it may take 3 to 5 years. It really depends on what your situation you've had is. But my key thing is, I think, key takeaways, Erik, is you want to make sure that unresolved credit issues are taken care of. Pay your credit card off every month is the best, or at least make sure you pay it on time, even if it's just a minimum payment. Keep your balance well below your credit limit. That's a key aspect of it. And don't try to apply for multiple credit. A lot of times you think you might be just shopping for the best deal, but every time you apply for a credit, it actually adversely affects your own credit score.
Well, Jared, I know time is what you need, of course, to improve your credit, but time is not helping us out right now because we are up against the clock. So let's take a break here. We'll be right back with accredited mortgage professional Jared Dreyer. And when we return, we're discussing how your credit history plays into your home purchase. We'll be right back.
The Mortgage Newscast with Jared Dreyer will return after a quick word from our sponsors.
Take control of your financial future with sound investing with Byron Stryloff, Senior Investment Advisor and Chartered Financial Planner with over 30 years of experience on the Business Channel on localwebradio.fm.
If you're struggling with a dental or oral health issue, be sure to catch the Healthy Smiles Oral Health Show with Dr. Norm Ickert on the Health Channel on localwebradio.fm.
Buying or selling a home on the Semiahmoo Peninsula? Catch up on local market conditions on This Week in Real Estate with Lance and Connie Marples from Sutton West Coast Realty on localwebradio.fm. To schedule a face-to-face consultation, you can reach Lance and Connie at 604-538-8888. That's 604-538-8888. And visit them online at www.surreywhiterockhomes.com. Now, back to the Mortgage Newscast with Jared Dreyer on localwebradio.fm.
All right, we're back with Jared Dreyer, and we're discussing how to obtain credit. Now, Jared, what if a borrower has never had credit?
Well, if a borrower has never had credit, it's important to establish or reestablish a credit rating and apply for a couple of credit cards with only small limits, like Visa, MasterCard, or a store card. In addition, overdraft protection is sometimes available with a checking account. And the other thing you can do is sometimes you can, if you've never had credit before too, is you can put up $500 like towards a bank, and they'll give you a Visa limit with a $500 limit. And then that way you have the money that the lenders guarantee their funds, and it allows you to establish a credit history. So it's very important that you do that, and when you do that, make sure you pay the balance off in full each month when you get that credit card, and it'll help you get established on the credit rating system.
Now, Jared, before we're finished today, do you have any final thoughts for the listeners?
Yes, well, my final thought is credit is an integral part of qualifying for a mortgage. So if you have credit challenges, make sure that you let your mortgage advisor know, and make sure they can help you, guide you through the process of those credit challenges. So it's very important. The credit bureau does report out everything that you've done. So where everyone's going to know if you had so many issues. So it's better let's address those issues up front, so we can make sure that we can get a good solution for you.
Well, Jared, thanks so much for the conversation today. It's been really helpful, and like I said before, I definitely have friends and family members I'm going to share this with. Now, for our listeners, if you know someone who wants to purchase a home, they would have questions and would benefit from what we've talked about here today, go ahead and share this episode with them. I promise you they'll thank you for it. Now, if you yourself have questions or are considering refinancing or purchasing a home, you can reach Jared's team at Dreyer Group Mortgages at 1-800-687-9020. or online on their website at www.dreyergroup.ca. Now, once again, Jared, for myself and the listeners, thanks for the call today. It's been really helpful.
Okay, perfect. I'll let you go then. Thanks, bud.
Thanks for listening. To learn more about Dreyer Group Mortgages, visit www.dreyergroup.ca. That's www.dreyergroup.ca. Or call 604-536-3802. That's 604-536-3802.
localwebradio.fm